This should be the last video for this disassembly. Let's notice a few things. This is captured to that other gear on the other side. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. We have another shock jewel right there in capstone. How this comes together or apart, I don't know, but it looks like this plate continues all the way around. So we need to remove all 4 of those screws, and then we're going to see what's underneath. What's going to happen to this? I'm just going to loosen them at first. Yeah, a little magnetism going on. Okay. I got a feeling this is going to be pretty straightforward, judging how everything else has been straightforward. A lot different than what the Swiss do or the Russians. I don't know if it's more complicated or more simple. I haven't decided yet. After I do a few of these, I'll let you know. I think the screws are magnetic because my screwdriver doesn't pick up all of them. So it must be the screws. Okay, let's give this a tweak and see what happens. Doesn't look like anything's happening. That's just going to lift off. Okay. We have that gold wheel right there. Some delicate springs there. Looks like a delicate piece of metal. We're not going to damage that. That gold wheel, it looks like it's riveted in place to that plate. Here's our date wheel. It is plastic. Well, it appears to be. Here's our little detent spring. Let's get the date wheel out. Yes, it is plastic. Okay. And a few things popped out here. When I did that, this plate just happened to come up. So we can remove that. We have more plastic. This wheel, for part of the date setting, looks like it just floats in there. That's just a floater. That is plastic, and I just dropped it. Okay, genius. We'll find that later. Here is another gear. Kind of odd looking. That engages this wheel here. That at least is metal. This over here is for our date changing at midnight. Let's get a better shot of that. That is plastic as well. Black plastic, not white. I don't like plastic parts in a timepiece. And that doesn't make me confident. Plastic will wear out a lot quicker than metal. But then again, plastic is cheaper. Okay, this is the minute hand attaches to that. So we're calling that the minute wheel. There's your cannon pinion. And here is another wheel. that cannon pinion is pressed onto that other gear on the back side. We'll worry about that later. We have another mechanism here. 2 screws and 2 pins. It looks like a winding gear for quick date setting. So let's get that out of the way. Looks like it's going to be a component all by itself, possibly. Another magnetized screw. That should just lift off. It's like a little keeper. And it is. It's a little keeper. Holds everything in place. There it is. Here's something that I don't like to see. That little piece of something right there is plastic. That's part of that spacer ring. The little piece of plastic was in that gear. That doesn't make me happy, but then again, these are not expensive movements. Alright, this gear is just coming out. Hopefully I was in the shot. This one should be coming out as well. Okay, very thin. That one appears to be locked in. Yep, that one's locked in. We're going to worry about how that comes out later. We have this is the back side of the balance. The other balance jewel, shock absorbing spring. We know how that comes out already. Let's take a look at what's holding that gear. This gear here is probably just a pressed on. We're not in the shot. Let's get in the shot so people see what I'm talking about. This gear is pressed in there from that pin right there, I'm assuming, because there's nothing on the back side. We're going to take this off. That's the cannon pinion. That can a lot of times come off with your hand pullers. Hand puller can go right in there and it grabs that cannon pinion, pops right off, and it's pressed onto this wheel. Now that the cannon pinion is off, this wheel can come out. And there you have a stripped NH35A. Now we can clean parts. Doesn't look like it needs to be cleaned, but I didn't know the service history of this. And we're going to clean everything, lubricate everything, put it back together, and get this thing ticking once again. So stay tuned for assembly coming in the next couple of days.